Top tips for breeding champion racing pigeons. Introduction. Breeding champion racing pigeons is an art and a science that requires dedication, knowledge, and attention to detail. There are many factors that go into developing a successful family of racing pigeons capable of competing at the highest levels. From selection of breeding stock to managing the loft, diet, and training, there are a multitude of considerations. In this comprehensive guide, we will provide the top tips from expert breeders on how to breed racing pigeons to reach their full potential. Whether you are just starting out or looking to take your pigeon breeding program to the next level, implementing these proven techniques will help pave the way for breeding future champions. Start with quality breeding stock. They say champions are not born but bred. The foundation of any good breeding program begins with procuring the best possible racing pigeons to build your family. Spend time researching bloodlines and reaching out to reputable breeders known for producing consistent winners. Determine the race distances and events you want your pigeons to compete in so you can select birds from pedigree lines that have shown both natural aptitude and success in those formats. Bring together unrelated pigeons from established bloodlines with proven inherent qualities like speed, endurance, orientation, and determination. The goal is to concentrate the genes of several high achievers into your breeding pens. This will stack the deck in your favor when pairing for desired attributes. Pay attention to racing performance. A pigeon's racing record is the best indicator of its genetic potential, so make sure to closely track the performance of birds within your own loft as well as from other colonies. Focus your breeding selections on pigeons with demonstrated success in important races or futurities. Things to pay attention to is if a breeding candidate has won at longer and more challenging distances, in headwinds or difficult conditions, and their record racing against large competitive events. You want consistent performance across several big races to confirm it wasn't just a one-off fluke. From your own colony you may have pigeons that always score well even if they haven't outright won. These types of birds still can be valuable breeding candidates as they are demonstrative of good homing ability and persistence. Breed balanced crosses. A common mistake is concentrating too much on one particular attribute, bloodline, or specialty when pairing pigeons. This can lead to breeds that lack balance. The most successful champion pigeons tend to come from crosses that blend complementary qualities. Aim to match bold long-distance genes from the cock with the speed and agility of a champion sprint hen. Or mix proven winners over 500 miles with daybird blood to get pigeons with the durability to handle marathon races but still break away early. The progeny from these balanced outcrosses tend to excel across multiple race formats. This versatility is important for producing consistent champions. Always keep the end goal in mind, whether your targets are one loft racing, 500-mile marathons, or 100-mile sprint competition. Practice inbreeding and line breeding. Inbreeding and line breeding are two important breeding techniques often utilized by the top racing pigeon breeders. The purpose is to concentrate and amplify the genes of an exceptional individual or family of pigeons. This intensifies good traits and enables those attributes to be passed consistently to future generations. Start by inbreeding closely related pigeons like siblings, cousins, or uncle/niece matings that share a recent common ancestor with superior racing attributes. After an outstanding individual is produced, then shift to line breeding daughters back to their sire to replicate his success. Over generations, performance and pedigree is concentrated. By the fourth or fifth generation, cross back into a separate bloodline for hybrid vigor, a potent champion family evolves. This tried and true system has produced countless record-breaking long-distance and national winning pigeons. Cull aggressively. An often quoted motto among pigeon racers says breed many, select few. The best breeding programs start with a larger pool of candidates to choose from. Getting to the winner's ratio typically deemed optimal of one champion from every 25 to 30 pigeons bred requires retaining only your very best. That means a breeder has to be willing to sacrifice and eliminate pigeons that don't quite make the cut. That might include weaker babies from the nest, those that get lost young or have low vitality, and of course any pigeon that doesn't demonstrate superior racing results when tested. This may seem counterintuitive to spend all that time and effort raising youngsters only to cull a majority of them. But the secret to breeding real champions is identifying outliers, as in those exceptional top 2 to 4% of pigeons, and basing your entire breeding program around reproducing those standouts. Start young birds early. Strong, vigorous youngsters develop from parents in their prime breeding years, generally starting around age 2 through age 7, but can vary some by bloodlines. It's recommended to breed pigeons in their second year, even if just allowing them to raise a couple rounds for experience to avoid issues later and waste valuable breeding time. Slower maturing bloodlines may not hit their stride until age 3 or 4. Not only do yearlings tend to produce less eggs and weaker babies, but by delaying breeding so long, opportunities are missed to test and confirm progeny before a pigeon is over the hill. Get your young team on the board starting as yearlings to maximize production and generate candidates for assessment. Foster to maximize production. A prolific hen can hatch up to 12 eggs in a single clutch, though 8 is more typical. However, most hens can really only adequately brood and feed maximum 6 babies at once. This is where fostering in supplemental babies from other pairs can help increase overall offspring numbers. Keep track of your best producing pairs as their eggs hatch, then transfer any extras carefully under other hens already sitting a day or so into incubation. Match foster babies to be similar in age/size to avoid bullying. Keep an eye that the adopted parents take well to the added youngster. When done properly, fostering lets your top breeders raise more progeny to evaluate without taxing a single hen too heavily. This is an indispensable technique to produce greater numbers from your 18 breeding pairs. Stagger mating schedule. A strategic breeding schedule is important for maintaining eggs and young birds consistently without overtaxing your breeders. Stagger when pairs are allowed to mate by dividing your breeding team into groups about 2 weeks apart. For example, you might allow one group of pairs access to nest boxes January 1st, another group January 15th, and a final wave February 1st. This keeps eggs and squabs coming in regular intervals. The natural molting period in fall is also an opportune time to give mature breeders an extended break before recoupling the same pairs that have proven productive or swapping in new mates. A properly planned mating regimen eliminates depleted gaps in production while allowing both parents adequate recovery between cycles to maintain health and fertility. Embrace genomic testing. Advances in genomics and PCR DNA sequencing has made possible new opportunities in precision breeding through genetic testing. Several laboratories now specialize in pigeon sequencing services to identify specific genes and markers associated with high performance. This testing can be performed from a blood or feather sample to determine presence or absence of these key attributes in individual pigeons. Over 100 genetic variants have been identified that correlate with exceptional racing and homing ability. By DNA testing breeders, you can hone selections based on definitive molecular evidence of genetic potential rather than just relying on pedigree assumptions. Genomic selections stack the odds toward concentrating and propagating these integral markers for speed, stamina, intelligence, and navigational superiority. This space-age technology has revolutionized the level of quality control now possible in the loft. Implement systematic record keeping. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over but expecting different results. To make progress improving quality over generations, you need to critically evaluate and build upon what's working by keeping accurate records. Track laying frequency, hatch rates, chick mortality and causes. Note any health issues. Log training progress of young birds in development along with all race results. Keep an eye out for patterns. Does one cock produce more hens or cocks? Do certain pairings have higher rates of losses or injuries among their progeny, suggesting possible incompatibilities? Detailed record keeping and analysis enables fact-based decisions on selections, culling in future pairings while minimizing avoidable issues that hamper consistency. Invest in your fly team. It takes resources to compete at a serious top level in the pigeon racing sport. Prioritize investing in the systems and supplies critical for fly health like quality feed, supplements, medications, training baskets, crates, premium nest bedding, and loft accessories. Pay for PCR testing to make the best genetic matches. Proper year-round nutrition, antibodies for prevention against common pathogens, vaccines and vitamins all better equip pigeons to thrive under demanding conditions and recovery quicker from rigorous training and races. While expenses can add up, a successful breeding operation realizes the fly team is their competitive edge so doesn't cut corners. The extra effort pays dividends and outcomes. As the saying goes, fly well, breed well, so do everything possible to help your pigeons perform at their personal peak. Follow natural systems. Pigeon racing places significant physical demands on participating athletes, making paying close attention to their health absolutely vital. Sticking close to nature's cycles can offer protective benefits. Time breeding season with longer daylight, increasing hormone production and target molting before big training pushes and racing schedules. Allow both parents adequate break between cycles to regenerate fertility for producing higher quality fertile eggs. Let hens recover calcium reserves after laying a full clutch before forcing a back-to-back round, which risks depleted eggs. Build gradually, training distances synchronized with what wild pigeons program in preparation for spring migration. When you work in rhythm with natural patterns programmed over eons in the species, pigeons respond better. Commit to exercising and flying the stock. Many outstanding breeders will tell you that one of the main secrets behind their consistent production of top racers is keeping the entire fly team exercised through routine flying and frequent manipulation. Pigeons build muscle memory and stamina important for competitive performance only through progressive regular flying, just like any athletic competitor. It also must become ingrained in their psyche and motivation. This is especially critical with breeding stock spending more time confined in the loft. Get them out as frequently as possible on time tosses to maintain edge. During off-seasons, fly breeders farther since they won't be in race shape anyways. Not only are fit breeders better physical specimens, but time outside together seems to stimulate breeding interest and bonding between pairs, producing better fertility and offspring. Select an optimal location. Geography and landscape plays a significant role in providing a structural advantage to pigeons in flight. Choosing an area with favorable terrain can slingshot home returns versus those struggling against obstacles the entire route. Features like open fields allow building air momentum, lakes and rivers provide helpful orientation landmarks, while gaps through ranges guide navigation. Research the flight plans and conditions connected with important club and combined race courses. Situate your loft position to mirror the direction that will enable pigeons to launch along the club's landing routes. This grants youngsters experience flying the pathways they'll need to be competitive race day. If possible, practice tossing them from points where major terrain shifts occur so they become accustomed to the changing landscapes. Mastering the relationship with environment transforms it from adversity to ally. Conclusion. Breeding champion pigeons is an endeavor that rests upon generations of foundation building through patience and dedicated effort. By starting with quality specimen demonstrated to possess innate racing attributes and then leveraging line breeding techniques that concentrate genes of standouts, the genetic capacity is amplified over time. Paying close attention to balancing pedigree crosses that blend important traits like speed and endurance aids in producing more versatile and consistent performers. Eliminating all but the absolute highest tier candidates in a process of continually raising the bar will upgrade overall quality. Following the strategies outlined here, including thoughtful planning around breeding cycles, early fostering, exercising stock, DNA-informed pairing and synchronized systems, primes the pump for excellence. Keep accurate records of performance metrics and watch for patterns that inform future decisions. Invest back into the loft's infrastructure. Stick to natural rhythms aligned with the species. Locate optimally along race flight plans. While breeding champions takes years, implementing the formula right accelerates reaching new heights. Master these techniques and your loft will be renowned across the sport for generations to come. There are many reasons to buy my Racing Pigeon method. Here are some of the best reasons. You will get excellent results. It's a very simple system to use. It's affordable. I have had over 400 first prize winners. It's adaptable to any situation. You can use it with any racing method, natural, widowhood, young birds. It's a very effective method. There is no need to spend a lot of money on fancy pigeon products. It's a reliable system and it is foolproof to use. Professional athletes, race horses, take the same products. There is science behind this, not just hearsay. It is all to do with red blood cells and oxygen in the blood. Without that, a pigeon will not race well, or an athlete will not win a race. If he has low oxygen in his blood, the above is fact and is 100% science. There are a few things you can do to improve your chances of winning at Racing Pigeons. One of the most important things is to learn as much as you can about the sport. You'll need to know the different types of pigeons, how to train them, and how to race them. Another key factor is practice. You'll need to be able to fly your pigeons competently in order to win races. And, of course, you'll need to have the funds to invest in racing pigeons and other racing equipment.